How's it going, everybody? Bryan Alvarez here on Wrestling Observer Live. We are here every day, Monday through Friday, noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, Sundays, 3 Pacific, 6 Eastern, Saturday mornings with Jim Valley, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 Eastern, Sundays with Andrew Zarian, and it is Wednesday here on the show. You know what that means. We got a lot to talk about. We do a prediction show every year. Man, every year. People make all of these outlandish predictions, and it's just a swing and a miss, one right after another. And then the stuff that really happens, nobody saw it coming. Because you can't tell the future. And we got a lot to get into. Dynamite tonight. Tony Khan's big announcement, which is believed to be the announcement they'll be running Boston, and the build to the debut of Mercedes Moné. I believe that's what's happening tonight. We'll go over the rest of the card here. There's a lot to get into. And then news. More on Vince McMahon. His resignation. And according to the Hollywood Reporter, who requested he resign. We'll talk about the Warner Brothers, Discovery, Fox, and Disney super streaming venture that they are going to be announcing. We have got Scott D'Amore out at TNA Wrestling. What? Scott D'Amore is out. We'll tell you who is replacing him, what people have to say about that. The Monday Night Raw, following that SmackDown, where Cody stepped aside for the time being. The Raw numbers are in, and the show did huge numbers. Basically exactly what they did last week for the Royal Rumble, which is one of the most watched Raws every year. We've got notes on Cash Wheeler, his aggravated assault accusation. Liv Morgan, the leader of the Bread Club, is injured. Man, we got a lot to talk about. And there's no Sempervive today, but Filthy Tom will be joining us. Back in a moment, Observer Live.
Welcome to the special tour of Figure 4 Weekly Headquarters, as promised. Today I will be accompanied by my assistant Vincenzo, so let's get moving. Hey, don't worry about it. Today's a special day, I'll drive. Vince, today's gonna be a good day, so let's not F anything up, okay? Now, I'd like to tell everybody, I just want to give a short speech on the way to the compound here today, and that is that we are going through very tough economic times right now. Right, Vince? It's a time of stock market crashing, the yen is devalued, a time of woe and want. And many of you watching this right now, for all I know, are unemployed. But the good thing is, and I always like to look on the bright side, as Vince is well aware, the good news is that for every dark cloud, there is a silver lining. And the silver lining is that Figure 4 Weekly is doing great. It's a huge success right now. Subscriptions are up, quality is down, profit margins are skyrocketing, things are going very well. So the one thing is that I don't want to make it seem like money is everything, because money cannot buy happiness, but what it can buy is enormous houses, and that makes me happy. So we will be going to see my enormous house, the Figure 4 Weekly compound. And that's where we're heading right now.
Back in the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also of WrestlingObserver.com. New details regarding... Actually, Mike's not here. Tom's here. Old habits die hard, Tom. What's going on over there?
Not too much, just hanging
Cool.
out. Another full day of news for us.
Yeah.
So get going.
Well, new details regarding Vince McMahon's resignation from TKO Group Holdings revealed today. Article by The Hollywood Reporter. This from the front page of the illustrious WrestlingObserver.com. Report cites multiple sources stating the graphic details in Janelle Grant's lawsuit against WWE, McMahon, and John Laurinaitis took top TKO executives by surprise. Notes Mark Shapiro, Ari Emanuel, called McMahon, requested he resign the day after the lawsuit was filed. Hollywood Reporter wrote, by the time the Royal Rumble began, McMahon was gone from TKO, seemingly for good, as they sought to distance themselves from McMahon's alleged past transgressions. Concerns culminated the evening of January 26th, when Emanuel and TKO President and COO Mark Shapiro called McMahon, told him it would be in his best interests of the company for him to resign. He agreed and submitted his resignation. Slim Jim pulling their sponsorship from the Royal Rumble in the wake of Grant's lawsuit was said to be a tipping point for TKO. That's what we talked about. After all of these years, snap into a Slim Jim led to the end. Well, I mean, Vince led to the end of Vince McMahon, but that was the breaking point. Slim Jim pulling their sponsorship. TKO reached out to WWE broadcast partners following news of the lawsuit. Sources say TKO executives reached out to all of the company's rights partners after the news broke, well aware of the need to keep them in the loop on what was happening. One source noted The Hollywood Reporter that had Grant's lawsuit been filed earlier, the $5 billion deal with Netflix may have been put into jeopardy. Multiple sources stated the graphic details included in the lawsuit took TKO executives and WWE talent by surprise. I can see all the people, talking about this one. They must have known and this and that. Listen, obviously everybody knew that Vince had a number of NDAs out. Obviously everybody knew that he had paid off women. I don't think anybody knew the graphic details that were listed in this lawsuit. And when they found out, he was gone. In addition to being asked to resign, McMahon is also the focus of a federal investigation into allegations of sexual abuse and sex trafficking. Investigators are said to have met with several women in recent months who have also accused McMahon of sexual misconduct. So, he's gone. I don't think he's ever coming back. See ya. Any comments?
Thanks for your service.
Actually, I don't really want to thank him that much for his service.
I mean, what else? Yeah, good point. What comments do you want me to make?
I don't know.
About this situation. I would like to issue the same comments that Seth Rollins had. It's terrible. I hate it.
Yep. And man, let me tell you something, everybody. It's just started. It's just started. Because, quite frankly, I mean, John Laurinaitis is going to...
You have to remember, Brian.
He's not the only one who's going to throw this guy under the bus.
People talk about this lawsuit like it's only Vince McMahon and John Laurinaitis, but the WWE is also one of the defendants, if I'm not mistaken. So that could open up to a whole another world, obviously, of discoveries on behalf of what was going on behind the scenes there. So
What promises to be a game-changer world of streaming rights, Warner Brothers, Discovery, Fox, and Disney will launch a sports-centric streaming venture in the U.S. will combine each service's various rights under one digital roof. Unnamed service expected to launch this fall, pricing yet unknown. It will be owned by a newly formed company with its own leadership team. According to Variety, each group will own a third of the service, licensing their sports content to it on a non-exclusive basis, meaning it would also air on their traditional home for non-subscribers. Subscribers will get access to linear sports networks, ESPN, ESPN2, ESPNU, SECN, ACCN, ESPN News, ABC, Fox, FS1, FS2, BTN, TNT and TBS, True TV, ESPN Plus, hundreds of hours of the NFL, NBA, MLB, and NHL. CNBC reported subscribers will be able to bundle the new service with Hulu, Disney Plus, and or Max. This will not affect ESPN's continued plans to launch their full direct-to-consumer product earlier this year or next. It will affect MMA fans and pro wrestling fans as well. Both UFC and PFL have deals with ESPN. Former's contract set to expire at the end of 2025. PFL signed a multi-year extension in November of 2023. Dana White said in January, TKO expects to begin talks with ESPN in the next 3 or 4 months. How it plays into ESPN's domestic pay-per-view rights distribution with UFC remains to be seen. Currently, one must subscribe to ESPN Plus in order to be able to order UFC pay-per-views. WWE has a deal with AEW. Expires at the end of 2024. While their exclusive negotiating window is not public knowledge, WBD considered the front-runner, giving Tony Khan's publicly stated desire to remain loyal. They have yet to become part of WBD's BR Sports tier on the Max streaming service, despite being listed within TNT Sports. However, Dynamite, Collision, and Rampage would be available via this new skinny bundle if they remain on the WBD networks. So, there was a point where, people were like, nobody watches TV. It's all streaming. And, they jumped the gun by a lot. And there are still a lot of people watching television, as we will find out this Sunday for the Super Bowl. But the fact of the matter is, we're moving towards streaming very, very rapidly. And it'll be very interesting to see how everybody benefits and does not benefit from this. I would not be the least bit surprised if, I shouldn't say sooner rather than later, whenever this Peacock deal comes up, I would not be the least bit surprised if you had to buy ESPN Plus and we started to have to buy the major WWE pay-per-views at $49.95 again. I think that, I don't know, the days of $4.99 Peacock, not sure how long those are going to last now that we've had this merger, but we shall see.
Is the UFC is one of the options to cut a deal with this new conglomerate? Can this group have their own television deals or streaming deals with companies? You know what I mean? If they're going to have their own leadership, could they sign an exclusive deal with the UFC?
I don't know. I have no idea what any of this means, except it's all changing very, very rapidly. And it is interesting because WWE, that new deal that they signed, their new television deal for Raw on Netflix, as we've talked about, that is a long-term deal, potentially 20 years. They've got the 10-year deal with the option, and I think obviously if they picked up the option, they would be paying more. I'm actually not certain about that, but the point is, to have signed a deal that long tells me that the people in charge of TKO and the people in charge of WWE, their belief is probably not that the bubble is going to burst, because I don't think the bubble is going to burst, but I do think that, these rights cannot go up forever. And I think they probably think that, this was an emerging technology, this whole streaming deal. Everybody wanted to get in. Everybody wanted to sign. Everybody was paying big money. And now it's kind of like a thing. And, the straight-up escalation is going to end. So we may as well jump in now while we can for a very, very good price. So We'll see what happens. But that's very interesting. And when we come back, what the hell's going on with TNA? Back in a moment. Observer Live.
Getting to I want to go ahead and shift into Continental Classic because you just mentioned it. A really, really great tournament that AEW has put together with top-notch competitors. I mean, you got to go in there with Andrade, with Bryan Danielson. Loved seeing you guys go to the time limit draw. That was awesome. Daniel Garcia, a young guy in this who's been killing it. Eddie Kingston, Brody King. All of these people that you got to mix it in with. What was your impression when you first heard of the Continental Classic, that this was going to be happening? And how did you feel getting to take part in the first one and in the tournament of this caliber?
I was very excited, right before I joined AEW, I was extremely close, like probably a couple of days away before doing the G1 for New Japan. And I always want to do the G1, and I still owe him one, I feel like. So to do the Continental Classic, I was super excited. And it also, to me, I feel like I'm at my best when I get into a routine, so to speak. And with the Continental Classic, it's like, you wrestle every week. And like, then again, like looking back, I was like, I pretty much wrestled every week multiple times. But to me, it's always like, okay, cool. And then I looked at both groups and like all the talent announced, which is awesome because I was like, yeah, there's not one person that I wouldn't want to be in the ring with. And then I saw the brackets or whatever, and the blue group, and I'm like, this is like, every single competitor is like top level. Every single competitor, it's going to be fun and a big challenge, and every match is going to be different, right? So the gold group was fun to watch as well, but I feel like the blue group just had like so many different styles and competitors in it, and it was so much fun, not just for me, I feel like my fellow competitors as well, and for the viewers, because you kind of knew what matches you were getting. I mean, like, you knew what the matches were, like, right when you look at it, you're like, oh my god, I'm going to get all those matches, but you didn't really know quite when. So it's like it's still that like cool, and then it gets announced and it's cool and you can look forward to it, and then of course it all came down to the last day, which was a lot of fun, I feel like, for everybody watching, and it's not quite over yet, so it's it's been a very good thing for AW and the fans, and I just brought it down to me what wrestling is, because it's fun, it's sports, it's storytelling, and you've seen all the guys do like the interviews and the promos and then like the matches, and it's just everybody put their heart and soul into it, and you can tell.
Back in the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive is not here. Filthy Tom Lawler is. And we got to talk about Scott D'Amore. What's going on here, Tom? What happened to Scott D'Amore?
Scott D'Amore is no more.
He is no more.
TNA, apparently, according to Anthem Sports and Entertainment, he has been replaced with who I believe is the president of Anthem Sports and Entertainment, Anthony Ciccione.
The promotion's parent company revealed he had been terminated. Anthony Ciccione has been named the new president. They announced today that he was the new president. The move aims to further integrate TNA Wrestling into Anthem's entertainment group, of which Ciccione is the president, leveraging the entire company's resources to add more value in areas including production, distribution, marketing, viewership. What does this have to do with Scott D'Amore? His contract has been terminated. He had been a part of TNA since 2003. Held many key leadership positions, played a vital role in the growth of the company, leading to its strong industry reputation today, including the successful return of the TNA wrestling brand in 2024. This is what they wrote. Anthem thanks him for the commitment he brought to the business, the talent, and the people who work outside the ring. Which, of course, begs the question: if you're talking about how he helped lead to the situation you're in today, which here's the thing with TNA: is TNA, when you compare it to WWE, AEW, New Japan, is it a rousing success right now at making money hand over fist? Of course not. If you look at TNA as compared to where it was 5 years ago, 4 years ago, is it in a much better place? Yeah. And, shows of late, I mean, we're talking, there have been a few shows that have been, close to what AEW Dynamite and Collision have been doing.
I believe they sold out the Palms.
They've increased
1,500 people.
Interest in the promotion. They have increased, they've sold more tickets. Why did you get rid of Scott D'Amore now? You just did a rebrand, which, everybody is, for whatever reason, I guess because people love, nostalgia. I mean, they like it. So, cool. Whatever. I mean, I don't have nostalgia for the old TNA. It sucked, for the most part. But people like nostalgia, and so it's back, and people are into it. Why do you get rid of him now? PW Insider reporting belief the decision came from Anthem president and CEO Leonard Asper. Fightful said that talent was informed. They were on a Zoom call to discuss it earlier today. He had left for a while. His second stint began in 2017 when Jeff Jarrett brought him back. December 2017, D'Amore and Callis were named executive vice presidents. D'Amore later named president of Impact in March of 2023. Scione will now run the day-to-day operations of TNA Wrestling. No wrestling experience, although he has been with Anthem for 16 years, and et cetera. So Scott D'Amore has a lot of money. He's independently wealthy, and he had been doing this job, basically because he loved doing it for a long time. And he had a lot of people that were friends with him. He had a lot of people that thought he did a great job, and there were a lot of people in TNA today that are caught completely off guard, not happy about it, don't understand it, and nobody has come up with any sort of explanation as to why he was removed. So, I mean, we'll talk to Lance later on today. He'll be on the show this afternoon, 2 Pacific, 5 Eastern. He's currently working for TNA. My guess is he doesn't know anything either, but we can ask him. So, I don't know. Rossi Ogawa out. Scott D'Amore out. Vince McMahon out. Where was that prediction? So there you go. This person says he could be all elite. He could end up all elite, but he didn't leave. They fired him. So, I don't know.
Shannon Knapp better be watching out too. Invicta FC, one of the other assets.
Yeah, who else from a major office is going to be ousted? Hopefully not old Tanahashi. He just got that job.
Anthem Sports and Entertainment really doesn't have that many assets, which it looks like they could try to leverage to use with TNA. I mean, by reading that release, it sounds like they would try to integrate it with some other properties, but I mean, I looked it up and I didn't see very many other properties. HDNet Movies, Access TV, Invicta.
Got a lot of questions here. Brennan wants to know, do you see him landing anywhere else? I don't know. It's completely up to him. But, you gotta, I don't know. You'd have to ask him. But, he was in a very powerful position. He got to make a lot of decisions. And if he goes to WWE, he's not going to be in that position. If he goes to AEW, he's not going to be in that position. He doesn't need to work anywhere. So I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I mean, he's come and gone from TNA before. I wouldn't say it's impossible he would never come back, but I don't know. Also, question here. What do you think the chances are of Cody somehow pinning The Rock at WrestleMania? Well, I'll answer that in a moment. But that brings us to the Raw number, which was great. After all of the controversy, Rock's appearance on SmackDown, Raw actually equaled its post-Royal Rumble numbers. And the Royal Rumble, Raw after Royal Rumble is usually one of the bigger Raw shows of the year. So to tie that is very impressive. 1.9 million viewers, 0.58 in 18 to 49. Number one on cable by a wide margin. And it was down 1% in viewers from last week, 6% in 18 to 49. The opening segment with Cody, Seth, and Drew did 2.02 million viewers. The bull rope match, 1.72 in the main event, which is well above the usual main event segment. So the 3 hours, 1.95 million, 1.96 million, daylight savings time, and 1.75 million. So the next big story is going to be tomorrow. They got that press event. We're going to find out what's going on here. But my guess is it's similar to that WrestleMania 10 with Yokozuna, Brett, and Luger, where we basically have The Rock and Roman Reigns one night. Cody Rhodes faces the winner the second night. And I guess to make it fair, Cody would have to have another opponent on the first night. So I think that's what's going to happen tomorrow. We will find out soon. But going back to that guy's question, what do you think the chances Cody somehow pins The Rock? I don't think it's happening. I'm going to tell you why. I don't think Rock is working 2 nights in a row. Yes. If I were The Rock and I was 15 years younger and I was thinking I'm doing my last match, what's the best finish for the future of this company for business? Well, it would be I put over Cody. It's The Rock. Putting over Cody is what needs to happen. Of course, that would require The Rock beating Roman Reigns, which who knows? Maybe The Rock's going to make that call, but I don't think so. I think what's most likely is Roman Reigns beats The Rock and Cody beats Roman Reigns, and Cody is your new champion. But anything's possible. What do you think, Tom?
If I was booking it, that is what I would do. I would have Cody actually defeat Seth Rollins night 1. I would have Roman Reigns defeat The Rock.
So he's going to unify the titles?
Not unify them, but have them
Have
both.
them all?
Defend them both. But what I think is going to happen is that The Rock is going to take Roman Reigns. He's going to take Cody. He's going to stack them on top of one another.
Stealing material from Adam.
Black Adam?
Adam Abdallah. That was his idea on Monday on your show.
Oh, yeah.
You idiot. Yeah, speaking of Black Adam. You know, it's funny. Dave goes, Rock doesn't mind being booed. It's all about business. And it's like, listen, I know you talked to The Rock a lot back in the day. Back in the day, he was a wrestler. And yes, as a wrestler, if I'm a wrestler, I prefer to be booed. I don't care. Yes, as a wrestler, it's best for business. The Rock is no longer a wrestler. He's having a match, but this guy's a Hollywood superstar. He's going to be the face of the XFL. Like, this guy don't want people to hate him. UFL, I'm sorry. This guy doesn't want people to hate him. I'm sorry. He does not want the fans thinking, we hate you, you're a horrible person, we're going to send death threats to your daughter. He doesn't want that, okay? There's no way when they designed this, it was, we're going to make Dwayne Johnson a major league heel leading to WrestleMania. So I think they're going to do something tomorrow to try to get people loving that Rock again. That's what I think. We'll see what it is. Orange County, Florida prosecutors decided last week to pursue charges against Cash Wheeler from his July 23rd arrest for aggravated assault with a firearm. He was arrested July 27th following what was described as a road rage incident in which he allegedly flashed a gun at another party. Warrant issued for his arrest the next day. He pleaded not guilty August 3rd, presenting himself for arrest on August 18th. If you recall, And the big question was, is this guy even going to be able to get to Wembley? But he did. But prosecutors have moved forward on Thursday. There will be a hearing on Tuesday, February 20th. Florida law calls for a maximum penalty, 5 years in prison or 5 years probation at a $5,000 fine, all applicable for first-time offenders. We'll talk about Liv Morgan at NXT after the break. Observer Live.
No fish could swim this far upshore. Yeah.
Shoulders ran like the wind, but he could find no peace.
Back in the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive not with us today. He shall return tomorrow. Tom Lawler joining us. Liv Morgan December arrest for marijuana possession has officially been resolved. The case against Morgan has been closed. Arrested in Florida December 2023, charges of possession of a synthetic cannabinoid and possession of 20 grams of marijuana or less. Only the latter charge was remaining after the possession of synthetic cannabinoid was dropped last month. She needs to pay an assessment of $543. So hopefully she's got a house show coming up to help offset that cost. But she's facing Zoe Stark Monday, Elimination Chamber match, and there you go. Tom, are you aware the leader of the Bread Club is injured?
I saw that.
Satoshi Kojima is hurt. He's the new MLW World Heavyweight Champion. He beat Alex Kane. to win the title. Now's your time. Now's your chance, Tom. Go after this guy.
I already lost to him
So what?
last couple months.
What, you can never wrestle a guy again after you lose to him?
Now that he's on one leg, maybe I should take him out. But unfortunately, he is already signed to defend that title against Minoru Suzuki, of all people.
Yeah, this Suzuki's getting around. He could end up with the MLW title and the AEW International title.
He's getting
Oh,
around.
no, it's Ishii this weekend. Sorry.
I don't know if Kojima's getting around.
He's not. He injured his MCL. He is off the road to New Japan shows February 8th and February 9th. And here is the lineup for the new beginning in Osaka, which is coming up on Sunday. We got Drilla Maloney, Clark Connors, Gabe Kidd, and Alex Coughlin, and David Finlay versus Will Ospreay, Francesco Akira, TJP, Hanare, and Jeff Cobb in War Games. Man, this Tanahashi. War Games? Wow.
The final match, if I'm not mistaken, of Will Ospreay in New Japan. So expect a lot of movement around the United Empire in this main event, I would imagine. Is somebody going to turn? Are we going to get a new leader? Is the Aswang showing up?
Yeah. I don't think the Azwang is showing up. Be my guess. We got Zack Sabre Jr. versus Bryan Danielson going at it again. El Phantasmo Hikuleo versus Chase Owens and Kenta. Okada, Tanahashi, one-on-one for the last time for the foreseeable future. Till Tanahashi ends up the president of TKO. Bushi, Hiromu, Yota Tsuji, Shingo, and Naito versus Taka Michinoku, Doki, Yuya Uemura, Taichi, and Sonata. And a number of other matches as well, including the opener, Yo and Toru Yano versus Taguchi and Boltin Oleg. I love that name. Boltin Oleg.
The actual best wrestler in professional wrestling.
Is Boltin Oleg?
Yes.
Really?
I
Interesting.
believe he was 7th in the world at heavyweight last year.
Yeah, it sounds like he's
Or
a
the
pretty
year
good wrestler.
before.
He's better than you? Admittedly, you'll say that?
In amateur wrestling, this guy is one of the best in the world.
Wow.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right. Brian Pillman's estate signed a deal with WWE. The daughter of Pillman, Brittany Pillman Evans, announced, "Never thought I would see this day, but after 27 long years, my siblings and I finally own the rights to our father's legacy. I want to say thank you to all the fans keeping my father's name alive. This is all because of you. Thanks to WWE for making this happen. Stay tuned for new merch coming soon." Pillman Jr. looks just like his dad. The more the time passes. Am I wrong?
You're right.
Yeah. What'd you think of NXT?
Easy show to watch. I mean, I watched it on Hulu, so I miss about half of it.
Oh, really? Please
but
tell me they didn't cut the main event.
The Ilya Dragunov and Dijak match.
Yeah.
The Bill Goldberg style wrestling
Dude,
in that main event.
listen, chat. I know you guys don't like NXT, but stop what you're doing and go watch that main event. Ilya Dragunov, oh my God, him and Dijak.
What is up with this guy?
He's trying
Ilya
to
Dragunov. Is he trying to kill himself?
God.
The promo that they did, I'm sure you'll get to it. Dijak punched him right in the nose.
Bro, they're doing this back and forth. It's Ilya Dragunov and Dijak, okay? And they're talking and everything like that. They're going back and forth. And all of a sudden at the end of it, so when I was a kid, I used to watch the Karate Kid movies, okay? And I was really into the Karate Kid, and I took Taekwondo and karate, and I would watch these, and me and my friends, when we first started doing the YWF, Pretend Pro Wrestling, our backyard deal, we would film them, and I would try and take the stuff that I learned from the Karate Kid and use it for when we filmed. So, for example, if I was going to punch somebody in the face, you want to make sure that the camera is behind that guy. So when you punch, you just see the back of their head go like this, but you don't see anything. But you don't want to do you don't want you two guys standing next to each other like this, right? So they're got the hard cam shooting right into the ring, and Ilya is facing this way, and Dijak is facing this way. Okay? There's nothing to hide. Dijak just all of a sudden goes, BAM! And he punches this guy right in the face. And I saw it and I was like, dude, that was either the best work punch I've ever seen in my life, or he just punched him in the face as hard as he could. And the funny thing is, if you listen to the crowd, that freaking punch was so loud that the place just went like, they went silent. Like, oh, my God, he hit him really hard. And so, they start brawling. And I rewound it like 3 times before the brawl started because I was like, I got to see that again. I watched it again. I was like, that's the best punch I've ever seen. So then I let it play a little bit longer. Ilya's streaming blood down his face. He just freaking hard-way this guy. He did the knuckle, bam, right here, and he's bleeding everywhere. I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. So they do the angle.
It was like a punch you see in a comic book.
Yeah. They should have just put the big pow up on the screen. So they go to whatever, and then next thing you know, they announce they're wrestling tonight. I went, what? So they come down to the ring, and Ilya's kind of, he's not bleeding anymore. But
his face is marked up from
the
match against Trick anyways.
They hit that bell, and these dudes got in a fight. And the heat was, Dijak punched him in the face again. And Ilya's bleeding all over the place. And man, it was just so awesome. They pounded on each other. They booted each other. Dijak's just booting this guy right in the face. Ilya's fighting back with his big lariats to the face. It was like, I don't know if they're the best workers ever or if they're actually killing each other in there. I mean, they clearly were with the punch. But this place was going nuts. NXT chants. And then, this idiot Joe Gacy had to interfere at the end. It was just it was stupid. But we got the H-bomb finish.
Hold on. Don't downplay what happened. Not only did he interfere, but he used a comically large boxing glove on a stick to punch poor Dijak in the face from under the ring.
Yeah.
That's what happened. In a brutal main event. These guys were battering each other, bloodying each other, beating the living crap out of each other for our enjoyment. And then he got hit in the face with that boxing glove. Normally I'd be mad, but it was so stupid that I kind of liked it.
Well, it was also stupid because they actually went out of their way to have some idiot under the ring to pull Joe Gacy by the feet back underneath. So he slides out and he slides back under like he's working on somebody's car on one of those wheeled gimmicks. Yeah, God, what a great match.
A dolly. Just
a great match. And then, we were watching NXT on Sunday, and we were like, why didn't Trick win or, whatever? Well, I think the answer is because, Trick could win the title from Ilya Dragunov, but when this show ended, Carmelo attacked Ilya, and he beat him up, and he held up the title. And they have a TV special coming up in several weeks, and then they've got the actual PLE over WrestleMania weekend. So what I think is going to happen is Carmelo beats Ilya, wins the title, and then it's Trick versus Carmelo over WrestleMania weekend, and Trick beats Carmelo and wins the title from him. I think that's where they're going.
Ilya had called out Carmelo in the promo that he did when Dijak originally came out. He called out Carmelo, and it was Dijak that instead answered the challenge. So clearly that's the direction they're going. And I think you nailed it on the head. I think that's the best booking idea for this belt.
What else do we have on the show?
I mean, Ilya doesn't need the title to beat the crap out of everybody.
No, of course not. Of course not. What else was exciting? We'll do the full report. Actually, the second best thing on the show? The Virgin and the Fornicator. So, Brooks Jensen meets with Briggs backstage, and Jensen says, man, you and Fallon doing your own thing. You guys are doing great. And Did you see Fallon's match? And Briggs goes, yeah. And then Brooks says, you're doing your own thing too, huh? And now the fornicator's like, all right, this is getting weird. I'm out of here. So he says, I got to go. And as he's leaving, this poor virgin suddenly screams, I'm lost without you. I'm struggling. I don't know how to do this. I need you guys. And so Briggs walks over and he puts his arms around him and he says, if you think being sad here is going to help you, it's not. You're not a kid anymore. And this world doesn't remember. And he shoves the virgin into the locker. And then he cuts this frickin' promo on this guy. He goes, you need to learn from Fallon. You need to learn from me. Stop living in the past and stand on your own damn 2 feet. This is the Performance Center, and there's dozens of guys here coming to take your spot. So you can either sit and cry, or you can grow some damn balls. And he shoves him into the locker again, and he walks off. I was like, wow. Dude, Josh Briggs was awesome in this segment. The virgin was an incredible virgin, and I thought they were great. Was I wrong? They were great in this segment.
This was cut from the Hulu version.
No way.
Yes
oh, my
way.
God. Of all the things to cut from this show, they cut that. This was literally the second best thing on the show behind that punch to the face. It was great. Then we had a couple of other things.
Chase U.
Yeah, Chase U. Well,
There
first,
was-
we should at least mention that Carmelo did do his promo. Sean's using all of his own gimmicks from the 90s. So Carmelo, who's playing Sean, basically did the promo and admitted, I attacked Trick Williams. You're damn right I did, and I do it again. And so then he pretends Trick is coming out, but instead he's just pretending, and he makes fun of him for being in the hospital with Booker T. And he says, you wanted to be like me so bad, but at the end of the day, you're just a trick. And the crowd chants, screw you, Mello, screw you. Because the much more profane chants at the beginning of the show, they were all bleeped out. First part of the show was like, I thought my audio was just silence, because they wouldn't let him do the chants.
It happened at the pay-per-view, too, or the PLE.
Yeah. You could talk about Chase U after the break. Back in a moment, Observer Live.
Well, I was super excited. Like, when I joined AEW and was the Blackpool Combat Club, I was like, oh yeah, it just like people ask me, how do you feel? I'm like, I feel like it's just right. Like it just, yeah. I get up another day and it's like I've always been part of it, And with Bryan again, like I've known him for almost 20 plus years now, all over the world. Like you said, we've been in the ring, all over the world, and like just hung out and traveled together for so long. That it's been so much fun, just being around him a lot. And, I always mention the BCC group chat because it seems to get people jealous that they're not in it. There's also a BCC book club, I think, that just got founded. So, yeah.
Wait, did that just start?
I mean, we just started our first book that we're all reading together. So yeah, I think that's going to be a thing as well.
Because I know Bryan said that he reads 3 books at the same time. So is he making you guys do this, or was this like a joint thing?
No, so I feel like so Bryan has been reading for a long time, and he reads a lot of books. I think he reads like at least one a week or something like that, which is incredible. I just started reading a lot more this year, and I know Marx reads quite a bit as well. So we were just kind of like, oh, what if we just kind of do a book club thing? We just all read like the same book and then talk about it. And we were like, sure, yeah, why not? So we're forcing Yuta to read as well. No, I mean, like Yuta was always reading, but we're just now doing this kind of thing. So it that just kind of sums it up how much fun it's been with Bryan. And then to your second part of the question. If this is his last year full-time wrestling, I'm extremely happy to have had that match with him, because we were kind of talking. It was like the last couple of matches we had were in front of nobody or screens in the Thunderdome era, and then before that it was like tag matches and this and that. But like singles wise, I think it was like a gauntlet match years ago, like 2014 or 15 or something like that, when I was still with Zeb and Swagger. And then obviously, before that, Ring of Honor. So it's been quite a while. And I mean, I was extremely happy that I was able to wrestle him for that long in front of an audience on TV, and just go in there and have fun. And like if he can do it again, like I would obviously love to. But if not, I feel like, if Bryan's kind of going, if this is his last year, he's just going down the list of fun stuff that he wants to do, and I was glad to have been part of it. Not so glad about that draw since he cost me the tournament, but you win some, you lose some.
Back in the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Filthy Tom Lawler's here today. And Lance Storm will be joining us in about an hour. We'll talk about what's going on with D'Amore. Doubt he knows much, but we'll ask him anyway, because we are reporters here, of course. And don't forget, tonight is Dynamite. I would not expect Mercedes Moné on this show. Do not expect her on this show.
On this show?
I would expect the announcement of Boston, and if you guys remember what they did with CM Punk, basically the exact same thing. Like, you're going to know she's coming, but they ain't going to tell you, and then she'll be there. Also got Swerve and Hangman. Winner gets an AW title shot at Revolution. Big Bill and Ricky versus Sting and Darby Allin for the tag team titles. Jericho and Takeshita. Moxley, Danielson, and Claudio versus Mystico, Volador, and Hechicero Jr. Can you beat up one of these guys and put the mask on, Tom? Get your hands on the BCC that way? And Tony Storm versus the unranked Red Velvet in a number one contenders match. Yeah. Who do you think is winning the tag team title match tonight? Big Bill and Ricky or Sting and Darby?
Sting and Darby. Come on.
Think they're winning the titles?
I think so. The bigger question to me is who wins the main event, and I think there's going to be some sort of schmoz. I think first we get a three-way with Samoa Joe, and then whatever's going to happen with that title is going to happen between the three of them. But first, I think we're getting a little segue or a little three-way action.
Well, we're out of time, everybody. We got a lot to talk about tomorrow, don't we? And later today and tonight with Dave. So check it out, WrestlingObserver.com. Hopefully we get started before like 3 a.m. We'll see. Talk to you next time, Wrestling Observer Live.